Hi, I'm Callie with the blog Callie Joy. Today we will be making a natural face moisturizer for oily skin. All the ingredients that we will be using are benefiting to oily skin and they are all natural. So for example, I will be reading some of this. Two of the oils that we will be using are jojoba oil and hemp oil, and they both pair well with oily skin. They're both hydrating, but not oily. They won't leave your skin with that oily feeling that we all hate. Now, the emulsifier that we will be using is Oliven 1000, and this is a natural emulsifier. Normally I use emulsifying wax NF, but that is not considered a natural emulsifier, so the emulsion will be a little different than what I'm normally used to. So some information on Oliven 1000 is that Lotion Crafter, which is the company that I bought this Oliven 1000 from, recommends GMS, which is glyceryl stearate, at 1 to 2% if you would like to add another emulsifier in there. Lotion Crafter also mentions that they find the stability of Oliven 1000 is improved with the addition of a water phase thickener like xanthan gum, soft or clear, and you would use that at 0.2%. Now looking at the ingredients in our water phase, we want to find ingredients that are oily skin friendly and that will hydrate the skin but not leave it feeling really oily. So we have our glycerin and aloe vera, and also our witch hazel hydrosol, which you'll see witch hazel hydrosol in a lot of different lotions that are for oily skin. Then finally, in our cool down phase, we have our preservative, which is Leucidal Complete, and that is considered a natural preservative. We also have our Chamomile Extract and our tea tree essential oil, which are both oily skin friendly. So let's go get started. Let's go make some natural face cream. We're starting on our natural face moisturizer for oily skin. We have our heat resistant glass beaker, which we'll be weighing out our water phase in first, and then we'll weigh out our oil phase, heat them up, combine them to make our emulsion, and then we will add in our cool down ingredients. So starting with our water phase, we have our witch hazel hydrosol. Witch hazel hydrosol is an anti-inflammatory. It can be used to treat skin conditions such as eczema and rosacea, and it soothes dry and acne-prone skin. We will be doing 13.68 grams, which is 24% of the recipe. Our next ingredient that we'll be weighing out is our hydrolyzed oat protein. This I bought from Lotion Crafter, and it is a gluten-free hydrolyzed oats. It helps hydrate skin by holding water to the skin, and it soothes irritated skin. We will be weighing it into a different container. And it will be 2.8 grams, which is 4% of our recipe. And we pour it in to our glass beaker. Next we have our distilled water, which is 19.38 grams, 34% of our recipe. And we will be weighing it in a separate container. And you can just use regular distilled water that you find at the store. We don't use tap water because of the bacteria it could contain. Now that we have 19.38 grams, we can add it to our beaker. Our next ingredient is our glycerin, and you will find glycerin in most skincare formulations. It's a humectant, so it helps keep your skin hydrated. We have 2.85 grams, which is 5% of our recipe. go. We can pour it into our other ingredients. Our final ingredient in our water phase is our aloe vera at 3.42 grams, and it's 6% of our recipe. And aloe vera is known for skin soothing properties. When I think of aloe vera, it makes me think of the after sun gel that you put on if you get too sunburnt at the beach. So we will be doing 3.42 grams of aloe vera. And now that we're done weighing back, we will add it to our glass beaker. Now we will weigh out our oil phase, and we will start by adding our golden jojoba oil. Golden jojoba oil is a non-comedogenic and will not clog your pores. And it is technically not an oil, it's a liquid wax. Because of the liquid esters that jojoba oil contains, it resembles our skin sebum, which makes it a perfect oil to use in face moisturizers. We will be doing 3.42 grams, which is 6% of our recipe. There we go. Our next ingredient in our oil phase is organic hemp seed oil. And organic hemp seed oil has high levels of antioxidants. It is high in omega-3 and omega-6 polycitrated fatty acids. It reduces dryness, itchiness, and it replaces your water loss that you have in your skin. And the minerals that it contains are calcium, magnesium, sulfur, potassium, and phosphorus. It is also non-greasy, which is great for putting in face moisturizers. We will be doing 2.28 grams, which is 4% of our recipe. There we go. As you can tell, it's more of a greenish color oil. But that does not affect the color of our moisturizer. Our next ingredient is our cetyl alcohol. And normally we try to stay away from any kind of alcohols, but cetyl alcohol is a fatty alcohol, making it a wonderful moisturizer for your skin. It also smooths out like the texture of your lotion. It makes it a creamy texture, and it is also found in nature, which is why we're using it in our natural face moisturizer. And it is from palm oil, the one that is from our lotion crafter. We will be doing 1.71 grams, which is 3% of our recipe. Pour it into our container containing our oils. Finally, we have our emulsifier, which is Oliven 1000. You can see it's a little flakier than emulsifying wax NF, which I normally use emulsifying wax NF in my other skincare formulations, but emulsifying wax is not considered natural, but Oliven 1000 MB is. Manufactured using palm oil. It is COSMOS and a natural ingredient. Lotion Crafter recommends using 7 to 8% in formulations of high viscosity like lotions and creams. So we will be doing 4.56 grams, which is 8%. So we'll be doing the most percentages that they recommend. And we can pour that into our oils. We have our oil and our water phase all weighed out. We're going to weigh our water phase before we put it in the double boiler. So that way, if there is any evaporation, we can replace it with distilled water. It is 143.51. We will write that number down and then we will reweigh it after we heat up both phases. We also are going to cover them with tin foil. That way no foreign objects can fall into our phases. We will be heating them up to 158 degrees Fahrenheit and holding it there for about 10 to 20 minutes. So that way our emulsion will properly emulsify. Our heat phase ingredients are all heated up. We are going to reweigh our water phase, and it looks like we just have to add in just a few drops of our distilled water, which this distilled water is at the same temperature as our heat phase ingredients. Now we're going to pour in our water phase into our oil phase. We're going to pour this in to create our emulsion. It is emulsified and now cooled down, so now we will add in our heat sensitive ingredients. The first ingredient that we'll be adding in is our tea tree essential oil. It is from Plant Therapy and it is kid safe. Tea tree essential oil contains anti-inflammatory and antibacterial properties, which is great for oily skin and acne prone skin. We will be doing 0.29 grams, which is 0.5% of the recipe. And we'll set that aside and do our other ingredients in separate containers. Our next ingredient is chamomile extract. And chamomile extract cares for sensitive skin. It's anti-inflammatory and it soothes irritation. We will be doing 0.86 grams, which is 1.5% of the recipe. And we can pour this into our other ingredients. Finally, we have our preservative, which is Leucidal Complete. And it's a broad spectrum preservative that fights bacteria, yeast, and mold. It is considered a natural preservative. And I like to use Leucidal Complete versus Leucidal SF Complete because of the pH levels. It has a lower pH level at 5 to 9, whereas the Leucidal SF Complete is best at a pH of 7 to 10. We will be doing 2.28 grams, which is 4% of our recipe. Now we can pour this into our other ingredients. And now we'll give it one final whisk. And we will be putting it in our 2-ounce container. And there we have our natural face cream.